Oh, man. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Hey friends. Sorry it's been so long. I hope you had a great holiday season. Happy 2019, and welcome to the Don't Stifle Me podcast. My name is Jacob Stiefel, and here on the podcast, I get to sit down with guests from all across music and performing arts, and we talk about the ups and downs of this crazy life and the different paths that we all have of people trying to turn their passion into a career and somehow make a living out of that, and the wonderful and sometimes not so wonderful things that can happen along the way. Before we get into it, I do want to mention a few things. First off, I'm a singer and songwriter myself, and if you'd like to check my music out, I have 3 CDs that are all on iTunes and Spotify and all those things, or you can check out more at jacobstiefel.com. Secondly, if and or when you decide that you want to buy something off Amazon.com, then you'd be helping the podcast out if you could first jump over to don'tstifleme.com, and you can click the Amazon banner that's there on the homepage that says, I think it says Shop, Connect, Enjoy or something like that. And you'll pay the same, that'll send you back to Amazon, and you'll pay the same price you would have in the first place. But since you went through our website, we would get a small kickback or commission or whatever you want to call it. No different for you, but it helps us out. Lastly, if you'd like some behind the scenes pictures or video, or every once in a while some MP3 downloads of some of the songs that I jam on with the guests, if that interests you, then you can go over to patreon.com/DSM podcast, where you can, it's a website where you can sign up and you can pledge $2 or $3 or $5 or $10 or whatever you want to do. And it helps the podcast out. Every little bit helps so much. But you also get access to an exclusive feed where I post up messages, or I'll put up a picture from, behind the scenes here while we're recording, or every once in a while I'll go through and pull out an MP3 of the song that I jam on with the guests, and I'll throw them up there. So go check it out if it interests you. That is patreon.com/DSM podcast. All right. Okay. You still with me? We're there? We good? All right. My guest on this first episode of 2019 is a fantastic fella named Johnathan Lewis, or Johnny. I call him Johnny, so that's how I'm going to refer to him. But his professional name is Johnathan Lewis, and that's Johnathan with an H, Johnathan. Lewis, Lewis. But we talk about all that. Johnny is a killer visual artist. He also works as drum and keyboard tech for Jason Isbell and the 400 unit. And he's a hell of a nice guy on top of all that. And I thoroughly enjoyed sitting here and hanging out with him and talking a bunch of randomness. And we recorded it just for you. So here it is, my talk with Johnathan Lewis.
Pick it up from piano.
Hey, man. Welcome. And why would you like to introduce yourself and who you are, what you do, what's your whatever you say. When somebody says, when you meet somebody on the street, you say, "I'm Johnny."
Right.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
Say that.
Oh, I'm supposed to do that.
Yeah, do that.
Well, I'm Johnny, and this is what I do.
What is your last name? What's your last name? Davis?
My last name is Davis.
Okay.
But I don't, people have known me for a long time, call me Johnathan Davis. But, I don't know if you know about one of the best bands in the world called Korn. That's a joke. I don't know.
If you were a big Korn fan, I wasn't going to say anything. But
I've heard they're nice guys. I even met one of them, too, and he was very, very nice guys. And their reputation is of good men. But since I was, in high school, I've been getting, "Oh man, you're like Johnathan Davis, like in that guy Korn."
Is he the singer or something?
That's the singer, yeah. So it's been something I've been dealing with for about 25 years.
Yeah.
But for my art, I go by Johnathan Lewis, which is my middle name. Ah. And
see, because I Googled Johnny Davis art, and there's a guy named Johnny Davis that has an art website.
Well, see, there you go. That's why I don't want to be him either.
Yeah.
So Yeah,
fuck that guy.
And there's a lot, and you know what, man? When I graduated high school and college, I was sitting next to other Johnathan Davises. Like,
Oh, okay.
Because I guess it's a pretty popular and yet powerful name. But
It is powerful.
Yeah,
Johnny Davis.
But so as far as art goes, I go by Johnathan Lewis, Lewis, and that's which is my middle name.
Does Johnathan have an H in it?
Jonathan has an H in it, so I'm John. ATHAN. Yeah.
Gotcha. Does your family call you Jonathan or Johnny?
Well, my dad kind of just calls me John or JL.
Okay. JL, I like
yeah.
that. I like JL.
Yeah, I used to call me that as a kid, and I always didn't like it, but now I'm like, oh, I like it fine. But his name is John, but he goes by JR. So I don't like being called John. I like being called Jonathan or Johnny. But
yeah,
my now that I have like 2 nieces now, and so I'm Tio Johnny now. So they've started calling me Johnny.
I like that. Okay.
So yeah, because they're of Spanish speaking.
Oh, cool.
Mother.
Nice. I should tell my niece and nephew to start calling me.
Yeah.
Tio Jacob.
Tio. Right.
I call my sister Hermana a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to be a bilingual
I like
person.
Speaking broken Alabama Spanish.
Yeah, and that's the best kind too.
Yeah.
Burrito.
Where are you from? I don't even know this.
I
had to ask Chance this morning. I was like, "What's Johnny's last name?" I don't know like anything.
Yeah.
I just know you're cool, and I enjoy speaking.
I don't know about cool, but I'm from here in Nashville. I grew up until I was about 14. I grew up in Fairview, Tennessee, which is 30-minute drive southwest maybe, down 40.
Okay.
So we grew up out there, but it was always. We always were coming into Nashville for we went to church in Nashville, or my dad would take us in and show us cool Nashville stuff, whatever, when I was growing up. So, I always said Nashville. Then, when I was about 14, 15, we moved to the west side of town over near Bellevue. And so I've always been around.
A local. How about that? Most people that you meet around here, especially in the music and arts world, are not locals.
And even not in that world too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Especially the last 6-8 years or so.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So you've seen the big change,
right? Yeah, I've seen very many prices go up in a lot of things, and different types of people come in here,
and the ebb and flows of the different areas of town. Like how it'll be really sketchy in one, this year, and then 4 years later it'll be really nice,
very gentrified. And
then 9 years after that, it's shitty again.
Yep. Yep. I'm kind of waiting for it to go back down. So. But I don't know, man. I'm trying to have a good attitude about it, be a good neighbor, despite, because it is. I guess I would rather see more artists move here. I don't see a lot of artists moving here, or at least around the area I am living, and have lived for a long time, and it's not very many musicians, artists, creative, or just different. So whatever. It's gonna happen. I'm not gonna complain.
I was
Can I have this?
I was talking. Yeah, that's you.
Thanks.
That's all you. So I one of the many things that I do is part-time. I'm a Lyft driver, so I drive for Lyft whenever I need to.
Right.
I was out a couple of days ago, and I was talking to a local. I was giving a ride to a local around here, and we were discussing gentrification and this and that, and we were talking about. It's interesting. I heard a Radio Lab podcast one time talking about gentrification, and they were saying how it happens is like the poorer neighborhoods is where the artsy, cool type people have to go because that's where they can afford. Right. And then they go and make it cool. And then once they're there and it's cool, then the people that, the people that make more money or whatever, they want to go where the cool people are. Yeah. So then they go in there, and all the crafty restaurants and coffee shops start opening up, and then the price goes up and up and up, and then eventually the artsy people have to move again because they can't afford to live there anymore.
Man, it's happened. I've the job I have now, I'm fortunate with, is let me stay in the neighborhood I'm in. But ever since I moved out and started renting houses, that's where we go. We go to the place that we can afford, and it wasn't safe, necessarily, but still, I was happy to live in those places. And it's crazy. It's weird to see that happen. But isn't that weird how someone will come along and say, "Oh, that's different," and let's expose this for what it is.
Let's
tear this building down.
This is where the poets are. let's make a bunch of money off of this area. Yeah.
And, man, there's also the people that argue for that's a natural thing or that's going to happen. And we shouldn't fight those kind of things. And I don't know, I'm torn because I want there to be some sort of still like an artistic flavor that is able to be sustained.
Yeah,
in
I think
that
it's
area.
like almost anything else I've found in life. There's got to be a balance. Like, of course, it sucks when property taxes get raised and poor families have to move because they can't afford to live there anymore. That's awful. That's awful. But it's great that the places get cleaned up and look nicer and have cool restaurants and coffee shops and whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool too. So you got to find a balance.
Yeah, but there's always having some riffraff in an area is always welcome. I'm welcome that very much.
Yeah, the balance.
That's
man.
what I'm saying is like, let's bring the riffraff back to Nashville.
Yeah, all right.
Come on,
Riffraff out there listening. Come on.
Which I'm part of that riffraff. I hope.
You always got to have a little riffraff.
Yeah.
In you. So art is the main thing, of course, and that's what I want to talk about most of the time.
Cool.
But you also work for Jason Isbell.
Yeah, I'm
right.
Right. I work as a drum tech and keyboard tech for Jason's band.
Cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
I guess I've been with them for a little over 4 years now, and I started off doing merch. Sorry, I'm taking my socks
It's
off.
all right, man. Make yourself comfortable.
So I started off doing merch, and after like a few months of that, I was just going in to help out with whatever, and I didn't know that it was going to be a long.
Did you know those guys like ahead of before that?
No. I knew one guy who got me in there, Daniel, and he was actually doing merch, and then he stepped up to kind of help tour manage and stuff. So he needed a merch guy, and I walked in and said, "Sure, yeah, I'll do it," and did a few shows of like one tour or so, and then but then that's when the Isbell stuff started growing,
Yeah.
And so they needed more stage help on stage. I was a drummer, and I've played music a lot, so I was like, dudes, let me help with that. So for a good year, I was doing merch and tech work, which is that was a lot. And then your roommate, who I met you through, Chance, came along, and that was awesome. And so he took over the merch, and I'm just doing the
man,
drums and keys.
So you're a musician also.
Yeah.
What came first, music or art? I mean, they're the same thing, kind of, but
probably art. I started drawing a lot when I was younger. I'd sit around in class and doodle and stuff. And I remember I had a 6th grade teacher his name was Mr. Mr. Fitz.
Yeah,
and he was cool, man. He was our math teacher, and he saw me drawing. He goes, "Let me look at all your drawings." And I was like, "Sure." And he took it while we went to lunch, and he came back and these are great, man. You made my day. You don't even know. And
That's awesome.
I didn't understand what he was talking about.
Yeah.
But I was just I just drew like baseball characters or, cause I love, I played a lot of sports. So I just draw on baseball cards or whatever. And, but yeah, I started doing that. And then I started playing, I got a guitar when I was 14.
Okay.
Then started
cool.
playing music.
Sorry. What sports did you play? You said you played a lot of sports.
My first sport was baseball. Then I got into some basketball and soccer.
Cool. So throughout, were you always drawing even when you were playing sports and then started playing guitar and stuff?
Yeah.
You've always kept with that?
Yeah, I would always draw, and then getting into high school, I started painting or just taking art classes, but I didn't do it. I just did it for fun. I didn't know what I was doing,
At what point did that become like more of a career potential instead of just a hobby?
I was an adult, and I was probably in my 20s, and I had a mentor who I've known for a long time, and a really close family friend, and she was kind of adopted grandmother to me.
Yeah.
Her name was Mary Lou Smith, a local artist here. She didn't live here anymore. She lives down in Atlanta, but she was a local artist here and been here for a long time and knew my family known me ever since I was born.
Yeah.
And she really invested in encouraging and getting me to paint and do more of that. And there's one time she just pulled me aside and said, "You need to keep doing this and stay with it." So I was probably in my 20s when I finally it clicked. It was like, I can actually paint and make more of, not just do it as a weird little hobby, but do it as a craft, or you know.
and share it with people. And
that came later too.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't ready to just, and I wasn't good, you know, but whatever she saw in me helped me just continue to go and do it. And
I feel like visual artists sometimes, maybe more than musicians or singers, it's hard for some of them to share their art. I've heard more of like visual artists, people are kind of like almost scared to let other people see the stuff because it's a weird thing. Did you?
Yeah. That was an experience because I would, you know, I got to the point where I was like, okay, I've got some paintings, or I've got some, I'm finished all these paintings or whatever, drawings and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had no desire, or I didn't care to show it. You know, people would see me come over to my house and see like what I've been working on or whatever. Like, oh, that's good, cool. But then I was like, why would I want to do like put it up anywhere and invite people to come do it? And then it was kind of less of, it was a kind of like a, I don't know the right word, like a calling, or just something to be like, hey, quit, just get off your little thing. Like, you're too cool to show your art. Just show it. And
were you afraid you were like opening yourself to criticism or something?
No. Well, maybe a little bit, but I think I just, it was, you know, I paint and I do art for myself. Yeah. And I still do it for myself. It's like, I'm number one. Yeah. In whatever I'm doing. And it's very like a solo thing. I'm working on my own thing, just me and you know, and so, and I do it for the benefit of myself, right? So then to me, it was like showing that to other people is still like, no, that's my thing. I don't. Yeah.
So it's like secondary, right? To why, yeah.
But then there's definitely a point when I had to say, okay, you are kind of obligated now to show this, and that's the way art should be. Yeah. You can't just keep it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it for yourself. Yeah. But the thing is, when you do something for yourself, there's so many people out there that can also identify with that, and they can also have an effect on them, even though you did it for yourself. Yeah. That's the same thing with writing songs or whatever.
Yeah. So that was the moment I had to be, all right, just, put down your selfish ambition for this art thing. Great, you're doing it for yourself. Good job. But you know, put it out there and let people have it.
How old were you when you finally decided to start like putting it out there?
Oh man, I was probably late 20s. Yeah. I don't know.
How old are you now?
I'm 38 now. Okay. Yeah. So I was not, 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like a lot of those pieces aren't even that good. And I'm embarrassed to have even done it.
Well, I think that's with a lot of art. I mean, when you start out, like I found a song not long ago that I wrote right when I moved to town in 2009 and then demoed, and I listened to it and I was like, holy shit, I can't ever let anybody hear that, and the same thing with the song I wrote when I was like 16 or something. I feel like a lot of artists feel that way, but you got to start. You got to, like even the first podcast that I recorded, I can go back and listen to it. The audio quality is terrible, but you got to get it out there. You got to start somewhere,
There was a good artist friend of mine from years ago that said, everything you paint is someone else's painting. And that also helped me realize like, okay, I'm doing this painting. And that was freaky too, because there's times where I would paint a picture with someone in mind and randomly they would see it hanging at a opening or something. And they were the ones that connected with it. And a lot of times it would be like, they have to have that painting, whether they want to pay me for it or not, it's going to be theirs. And that was so my friend would say like, everything you're doing is going to be for someone else. Like you have to make sure that you get that piece to that person. And I'm just kind of the one that facilitates where it goes and say, oh, that's the one. You're the one that needs that one. Or, and hopefully they do like it enough to want it, but
Yeah. That's cool. What's your favorite medium? Is that right?
Yeah. I paint oils is my favorite.
I think oil on canvas is my favorite thing to see, to look at.
Yeah. And oils have just they're just a richer quality of paint. And, but I use a lot of other elements I've been using a lot of spray paint stuff, like to kind of help bring some weird colors into it, or, and I'll use acrylics or I don't know, but I always finish a painting with oils. And so
cool. When you're doing a painting like that, do you start with like some kind of sketch of what you want to do or something, or do you just go to a blank canvas and be like, oh, I'm going to swoosh this here, and like, do you have a strong idea of what you want the end to be?
Well, I wish I could just visualize something that doesn't exist, but I love sitting something in front of me and painting it, or from a picture that I've taken, or a model or something. So what I do is usually on my computer I just have like a picture file of those pictures that like
stuff you might want to paint sometime. Yeah.
And so I use those elements or just sit there and look at that. And then, I have an idea of like, I want this painting to have this kind of expression, and use those images that I've taken and then put a
touch on it or whatever.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
What kind of things, you talked about your mentor earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What kind of things did she kind of help you do along the way? Because I found like there's in so many fields, whether it's art, music, finance, whatever, anything you want to strive to do, it just amplifies so much if you can find a mentor, somebody who's been there and can like guide you. So what kind of stuff did she help?
I'm glad you asked that, because what she did, and I'm probably still going to be learning the things she taught me, because I don't get to see her a lot, and she's older now, and I don't know if she really paints anymore. Yeah. But so I'm still kind of unpacking a lot of the things that she taught me. But one thing I could say right off the bat is that she taught me how to make a picture original. So she would always be painting from the same thing, like from a model, or she'd have an idea and have like take a picture of. One time she used me for something like I want to paint something, and it's going to show like a traveler. So she made me put on a backpack, and I got out in my yard. She took a picture of it. Yeah. And she painted this picture of with the mountains off in the distance, and, and there's like the image of me that she painted. So she, I guess, just make it original. And so that's and just like the content of like what's on the page, like make sure that that flows nice, and then some of the basic things you learn as artists, like this is how you paint with an oil, this is shadow and light, all that stuff. I didn't go to art school, so I'm really
so you were just kind of figuring it out, and she really helped you.
Yeah. So she would say like, this is some of the basics that you need to figure out.
How did you meet her? Like, how did that?
She let's see, my family went to a church, and they were just kind of folks in a church, and so her and her husband were like very close to my parents, kind of like as they were like adopted parents to them, and so to me and my brothers, her and her husband were like adopted grandparents, and we were just close family friends. Yeah.
Right on. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
Just one brother. He's younger than me, and he's awesome.
What does he do?
He's him and his wife work in a lot of real estate stuff.
Okay.
And he's got 2 kids now, and so they're 2 and under. And
he sounds less riff-raffy than you.
Yeah, I think our roles switched, because I was a very good boy growing up, and he was a wild child.
Oh yeah.
And now, since he's a dad and a husband,
he's tamed a little bit.
Yeah, and he's very successful, and he's taken his like. It's awesome to watch how he grew up and how I grew up, and how he had made a lot of challenges for himself, and then just turned that around and made it a positive experience for himself. And now it's just super successful. And, man, he's one person that knows me better than anyone in this world, man.
Did y'all get together for Thanksgiving? Do y'all do like a big family thing?
They had to go to her family's house in California. So they took the kids out there. So
do they swap like Thanksgiving and Christmas like a lot of people?
Well, it's awesome because my sister-in-law, which that's what we call her, Love, because love, my dad says love brought us together.
There you go.
So my sister-in-law, Mia, she is from California, and we gotten to know her family, and so they always come in to Nashville, and then her dad actually moved to Nashville, but her mom and dad come to Nashville, and we all just hang out as a big, huge family.
That's great. Yeah, man.
So that's great. So
yeah. Oh man, you got a flat tire coming in here. That's no good.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought about that.
Yeah. If I can keep that here for a little while,
I'll sell that shit. Put a for sale sign on the front.
Yeah.
I saw you, like, it's where I'm sitting right now. I can see out the window. You come cruising around, sunglasses on and everything. And then I go down there and you're on the phone because you got a flat tire. Like, oh, well, made me want a motorcycle for just a second. And then I saw the flat tire and started thinking about what you had to do, because there's no spare tire on a motorcycle.
Right. And that's my first flat, so this is a learning experience now.
What'd you end up doing? Did you call somebody that knew what to do?
No.
You still don't know what to do?
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, we can leave it here as long as you need to.
I might need to bring my truck and put it in it.
All right, so once you started doing shows, how did you start? How did you like get into doing art shows? Like, do you just how did you just start doing that?
I think I would meet other artists, and what we would do is say, hey, some people would have like cool old spaces that were maybe a studio or something.
Yeah.
And so like, let's have a bunch of artists in this show. So I have everybody have 3 or 4 pieces. And so I started doing stuff like that with other artists. And then I was like, man, I could do this myself too. And I want to show more than just 3 paintings.
Yeah.
I'd have a big group of 10, and then I'd get with other artists and say, or like photographers, something like, let's have a little opening of our own stuff. But I would do it like in my house. Like at the time I lived in a big old 100-year-old house with a few other guys. So we would kind of set the house up as a big, cool gallery and just kind of have, invite a bunch of people over, have a little
when
party
you do stuff like that,
yeah.
And you're first starting out, how is it as far as income? Is it as like bleak as most like
Oh yeah,
creative
we're starting
artists, yeah, right, yeah,
definitely.
I don't know, like when you get together with a few different artists and you do a show like that and you invite people out and everybody, do you sell much stuff at the, like, does it take a while?
No. Well, yeah, I mean some, yeah, and those are the ones that I'm kind of like ashamed of. Those are the days I don't know why I painted that stupid looking painting. Like, get that away from me. But those didn't sell, obviously. Right? But there's a few that did. But I didn't know I don't know what to sell it for. Like $30, sure, yeah. Or I don't know.
Yeah, I go into some places and there'll be original artwork on the wall at a restaurant or coffee shop, and I'll be like, oh, that's pretty nice. It's like 12-inch by 12-inch. That could look cool in my office. I'll check that out, and it's like $350.
Yeah. You opened a little door for me there, because I don't like restaurant and coffee shop art.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the place to put up art. I'll never want to do that. But,
yeah. I guess are they just trying to get the fancier people that go in and who can I don't know. I guess once you get to a certain point, dropping $300 on a small picture is not that big of a deal at all. But
well, I mean, if you're going to make, this goes back to the thing where you have to be the facilitator of where that piece goes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm going to charge some money for it. It's worth you to pay that money for it. But if someone comes to me and says, I can't pay that for that piece, can you sell it to me for less than that? I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you want to pay for it? And that's when you're kind of,
I get that. Yeah.
You got to let the money part of it, definitely, charge what you should charge. And that is saying, like, this is worth that.
Right.
So it's worth it to you too, if you're going to buy it and if you like it that much. And that's, so yeah, but you also, if someone who connects to it, and I've many times done the same thing, look at a piece and be, I would love to own that. I can't pay that for it.
Right.
And I wouldn't buy it. So I couldn't,
right. But that's a great point though. If somebody came to you, if it was at a show or something, and somebody's like, this, like, brought me to tears. Like, I love this. I really connected with it, but I can't pay that. Mm-hmm. Can we make a deal? Mm-hmm. And that you would be like, hell yeah, of course. That's great. Yeah.
So yeah, I would just throw kind of shows like that. And then I got in with some friends and we'd have like a big warehouse place and just put up tons of art. And then I'd have like a dude making drinks, and then a dude DJing, and then some other people painting, like spray painting and doing cool stuff. And then even on that show, I was like, if you like a piece and you don't want to pay that, why don't you just steal it? And then a lot of people stole like some of their, and I didn't.
Really?
And it was, that was really awesome. And then years later, I'd go to someone's house and be like, oh, that's where that went.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah.
Throughout all of this, because of the old starving artist thing, have you always had to have a day job or like a regular job?
Yeah. I've actually for a good 3 or so years, I felt like all I'm going to do is play music and art.
Yeah.
And I was trying to write more than I kind of said I would write, but I wasn't really, I couldn't.
Yeah. With the music thing, when did you start playing in bands and playing shows and stuff?
Oh, I don't know. As college, I mean, I played a little in high school but I didn't really start playing with bands until like in college. So,
so mostly
18,
drums
19s.
By that point? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just picked up drums because at the time, like, I was playing guitar, but I wasn't a great guitar player, and there's
Yeah.
already a bunch of good guitar players. So I can play drums. I just sat down and started playing.
Yeah.
Because when I went to this new school, when we moved into Nashville proper, I'd just be nervous kids. I'd just be like, tapping my pencils on the all the time. Then I started thinking, oh yeah, that song was like, started playing pencils as a drums, so that when I sat down on drums, like I knew what I was doing, because for years I've been nervously tapping pencils the whole time.
There you go.
So, but yeah, by that time I'd playing drums and just writing songs with folks.
Cool. Were you trying to, so those few years where you were just doing music and art, were you doing like a band thing, like in a band?
Yeah, I was in a few bands. Yeah.
Cool.
And so I would just pick up jobs like painting or construction or something.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have anything steady for a long time, and then just would play a bunch of music and paint. Yeah.
You ever do any murals?
I've done one mural. It's on 12th South. It was right when 12th South started like blowing up, but the green piece of lawn, there's a green piece of lawn right across from the Burger Up, and it has a bunch of flowers on the side of it, and that's my mural.
Okay.
I'll
have to go look now.
Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah. 12th Avenue South, people, here in Nashville.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah, and I didn't sign it or anything, and so I don't know. No one knows who did it, but
you should go sign it.
No,
so
I'm
now
not
that
going
you
to.
did it, so how long ago was that?
Oh man, I don't remember. It was a while ago, 5 years ago,
5 or 6 years. Yeah. So could you go back and sign it now, or I guess you'd have to get their permission, I'm sure, or whatever.
I mean, I don't really care.
It's your work.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think people go and might take a dumb selfie in front of it or something, and I've seen that on the internet and stuff, but it's funny to watch that happen and see it.
Yeah.
Like, they have no idea who painted that.
Yeah.
But that's the only one I've done, and I'm talking to some folks about doing another one, but I don't know if that's going to work out. But
yeah.
We'll see. But I don't. It was hard, man. I didn't enjoy the process doing the mural.
Yeah.
I was very inexperienced as far as murals.
Have you been able to keep up, like the last few years of working with Jason Isbell? Have you still been able to keep up doing his art since you've been so busy on the road?
What's awesome is that job is working for those dudes has provided me the opportunity to do more art.
Okay.
Honestly, because I will, come home off the road. Like right now, we're in a 3-month no traveling.
Right.
So now it's just crunch time. I go home, paint, and I just sit there and work on things and think about things and draw and think about what's coming up for the next year as far as art goes. And so what's cool with touring is that, I'm gone for, however long. So I can't be, working hardcore on some art, but I come home and we got all the time to do it.
Then you're home for a few weeks. Yeah.
So, and if anything, that this job, as working for them, has helped me do more. So.
Yeah, man, it's such a great crew. I've gotten to help Chance sell T-shirts several times, and everybody's just so great.
Man,
you are definitely one of my favorites because, especially the first couple of times I was there, most of the guys. It wasn't like they were mean by any means, but they just didn't really talk to me that much. It was just like, oh, there's another guy that's helping do things. But you would come to the merch stand and be like, hey, man, how you doing out here? Can I get you anything?
Well, I know what it's like to sell merch, man. It's not. You need someone just to check on you every now and then.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What? How many paintings are you working on? Do you do like one at a time? Or
No,
do you do
I'm working on 3 right now, or maybe 2. And a handful of drawing ideas and stuff.
Do you have like a studio set up at your house? Or
just
anything?
in my house, yeah. It's important for every artist and musician to have, like in this room here, we've got all the mics set up. We got guitars. You're ready to play right now.
Yeah.
In my house, it's the same way. Like you have to have your stuff ready to go.
Space. Yeah.
Your space dedicated for just the creation of your art.
Yeah.
So I've got a little place like that.
I'd love to do some painting sometime.
You should.
I just got.
Everyone
I want to
can
do so
paint.
much shit. I want to do so much stuff.
We'll do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna set up in Chance's bedroom with a bunch of paint and oils and stuff.
Man,
and just get it all over.
Or just come over sometime. I love painting with people, man. It's fun, and even just people just. It helps me stay focused, and then I'm also talking and being around people is a lot more fun than just doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, come over sometime.
I painted. I was out in Fort Worth it was last year when I recorded a podcast with a guy named Chad Prather, and he's I don't even know exactly what you call him. He's like a he's a stand-up comic, but he's also a kind of motivational speaker. He's also like a political persona guy. I don't know if you've seen, he does a bunch of YouTube and Facebook videos.
Okay.
Anyway, we went, after we did the podcast that afternoon at his house, he and his wife and I went out to one of those paint and drink wine things or whatever. It was fun. We did. So what they do is they kind of set up the picture, what it's supposed to look like, and then somebody that kind of walks you through the process.
Mm-hmm.
And so the one we did was like a bottle of whiskey and a cowboy hat sitting on top of a barrel. It was, in Fort Worth, Texas, So I did that, and then I painted. You could kind of take, use your own leeway on changing this or changing the color of this or whatever. So I painted my logo onto the front of the bottle of whiskey.
Cool.
And then I gave it to my dad, and he's got it hanging up in his office. So it's cool.
That's
so
cool.
I've got works out there.
Yeah, good. I've never done any of that thing, but that sounds fun. I'm glad that they're doing things like that, because I've had other friends that do it, and they bring back their paintings, and like, that's really great, man.
Yeah, people are more creative than they think they are.
Oh, everyone has to have a creative outlet.
Yeah,
everybody has to have that.
Like you see kids, you see children. My niece and nephew that are 5 and 7, they're so creative in different ways, but they're like painting or drawing stuff. Or my nephew will be outside like building something out of rocks or something, creating things. And I think just society so often just kind of beats the creativity out of people, and they just like, all right, I'll go to work. Yeah. All right, I'll go home, and I'll and go to work again.
Yeah, and but I think if everyone has the responsibility to pay attention to their creative side and nurture that as much as they do their eating habits or whatever,
Yeah.
So it's I think it's everyone has to do it and take care of it.
It's a therapy. It's a type of therapy. It gets your emotions out, or your stress out, or your whatever you're creating. Is like releasing things.
I'm not more connected to myself than when I'm painting. That's when I understand myself and I'm like more okay with things. But a lot of times coming just to do that first line or first like paint hitting the canvas or whatever, that's the hardest part, man. It's just starting.
Right.
And maybe it's because I'm afraid to get to know myself a little better. I don't know. But then you just get in there and you start doing it. You're like, and then you're like, this isn't so hard. This isn't so bad.
Yeah.
And then you usually end up with something you're very proud of.
Yeah, man. You got any shows coming up?
No. But I'm working on.
I think you had one not too long ago, didn't you? Chance, was it earlier this year?
With Chance?
No, Chance went.
Oh, Chance went.
He came,
No, that was that was about a year ago. That was the last one I did. It was at the Jewish Community Center in Bellevue, Tennessee. And Carrie Mills is the curator there. And she was.
Okay.
So she was pretty awesome. And
I wanted to come to that. I think I was playing a show that night or something.
That's right. I do remember that. Which I wanted to tell you, I want to come see. I still want to come see you play sometime. But anyway, that was the most like, I don't know, I'm doing quotation marks, but successful and most pleasant experience, because that was the first time a curator comes, like, all I do is drop my stuff off and she does everything, puts it up how she sees fit.
Oh, cool.
And helps with the selling of it all and all that. And so, and then takes it down, and I just come pick it up what didn't sell, and it was great.
I've got a really good friend. I can't remember if I've told you about him or not. A really good friend of mine in San Antonio, Texas, that he was on the podcast last year, but he's a visual artist, but he works with aluminum panels, and he uses an electric grinder and like grinds different things into it. I'll pull up some stuff and let you look at it. But it's some of the craziest, awesome shit you'll ever see. Because he learned it from his mentor, who basically created this way of doing this. Cool. So this specific way that they do it, they're the only two people in the world that they know of that do it like this. Cool. And so I went to a show of his. Actually, the first time I met him, his name's Eric Breisch, for those of you listening. He was on like episode 17 or something like that. Mm-hmm. You'll be 67. How about that?
Ooh, dude, 67. Good age.
But I went to his show in San Antonio a couple of years ago, and it was just great the way, because a big part of his art is, because it's aluminum and there's the etchings in it, is how the light is reflected off of it.
Yeah, cool.
Because that gives it like a 3D look to it. And so he's very involved in the staging of the show because he's got to set up and then get the lights pointed in the right direction.
Because that's part of the picture.
I remember
that's
one of
cool.
the last shows he had not long ago. I was talking to him about it, and he had been working for a while on getting the different pieces together, and his, like, I don't know what you call it, the centerpiece or the main work that he was showing at that had an elaborate, like, gold maybe frame around it. And the day before the show, they were all in there setting up and everything, and they heard a crash, and it fell off the wall, and the frame broke. I mean, like less than 24 hours before the show, and it was a big deal. And so he was freaking out. I talked to him about it. They were working all day on, I think his fiance at the time, I think they just got married not long ago, but I think it was her that went and like carefully glued the frame back together, and they got the show, got it back up there, and you couldn't tell, like he posted a picture of it, you couldn't tell at all, but the stress.
That's good enough for me to not want to do it. If someone else is doing that stuff, I'll gladly let them, because I just want to paint and that's it. But
I've, in just the last few years, when I'm on the road especially, I've tried to find the best art museum in whatever town or city that is.
That's fun.
And just go, even if I go by myself, but just go and look around. It's just amazing how people just create from just a blank canvas or a blank whatever. And especially back in the whatever, before 100 years ago, before photographs, you just had to paint from what you saw or what you remember seeing, or just create it. Like I think I was talking to you about this the other night. I can't remember which museum I was in, but there was a huge, almost the size of the wall over there, painting of a battle. I think it was in the Revolutionary War, Civil War or something. And just the detail of like a guy climbing up on a barn in the back corner or something, that whoever painted that just came up with all that shit. Because they weren't standing there at the battle painting it as it was happening. They were just said, oh, this guy could be holding a knife, and this guy could be doing this. And I don't know.
Or they could have been sitting at a battle and sketching it really quick, making notes. But it's
possible.
But what's awesome is that what's cool, and what I think a lot of art lacks is, you need to learn how to paint skillfully a face or hands or stuff that's hard before you get into all the crazy stuff you want to do. And there's a place for all the crazy looking art that's abstract or weird or whatever. I don't get abstracts that much. I'm trying to understand it more. But there's a place for all that. But the really good artists, when you think about it, like, they started like painting and they'd make a face look perfect or just really great. And
how hard are hands and faces? I mean, they're so hard.
If you ever notice like a picture that avoids the hands or the face, that's one thing that Mary Lou Smith taught me, is don't avoid hands and faces. Yeah. And over the years, like, hands and faces are some of the most fun things to paint, because they're challenging, and your fingers, what they do, and all the little lines in there, and that's when you really get into it, like, that's fun. It's fun to like get that right, and then, so to me, if I've always respected painting, that don't that isn't shying away from showing the face or the hands, but you
need to paint a painting one time that's just a guy doing this, holding his hands up by his face.
That's too hard. Right.
Got any good jokes?
I told my cousin's little girl, she's probably 5, that she should start telling jokes, and the only one that it came up with was, why did the turtle cross the road?
Why's that?
To get to the Shell station.
That's pretty good.
But I do got some questions for you.
What's up?
Why in the world do you want to interview me at all?
Because you're cool. I like talking with you. And you're an artsy, riff-raffy kind of guy. Well, you're interesting to speak with.
Well, good. Then, see, we're just having a hanging out time that other people might be or might not be.
Yeah, that's all this is. Yeah. We're just sitting here talking like we would be anyway. There's just microphones.
Okay, I got another question.
What's up?
What's your favorite podcast? That's not your own.
Probably Bill Burr or Joe Rogan's. One or the other. It's I mean, I probably get the most inspiration, like, for my podcast from Joe Rogan. And Mark Maron's. But my favorite one, like whenever Bill Burr posts a new podcast, I'm listening. That's the first one I'm listening to.
All right, cool.
Just because he's just hilarious. Because it's just him. Have you ever listened to his?
No.
He's a stand-up comic. He does one on Monday and Thursday every week. And it's just him sitting in front of a microphone, rambling and bitching or ranting or whatever for either on Mondays an hour and Thursdays 30 minutes.
Okay.
And it's just hilarious. When he reads his advertising, he like shits on the company and just does it in a funny way that makes you want to listen to the advertising. It's genius because the rest of the podcasts I listen to, I skip right through the ads.
Yeah, me too.
But with his, you listen because it's funny. He'll sing about MeUndies or whatever. You know?
Right. Cool. I've listened to Joe Rogan's quite a bit, and I like his. I like the variety he brings.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He'll have a scientist on one day and a MMA fighter the next day, and then a hunter the next day, and I love that.
Okay, and then I got another question for you.
Yeah, man.
When are you playing again? Because every time you text me about you're about to have a show, it's like an hour before. And I'm like, I need to do a better job.
Well, I'm playing today and tomorrow at the Marriott Hotel here by Vanderbilt.
Okay.
It's like a hotel lobby bar restaurant thing. I played last night in Donaldson, and I neglected to send out invites. Oh, let's see. What's this? December? I'm off next weekend. Or this coming weekend, I'm going on a hunting trip to Mississippi. My buddies from high school, each year we get together. We have for like 10 or 15 years and go to one of my friends' family land in just north of Jackson, Mississippi, and deer hunt.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's fun. I'm not a huge hunter, but I enjoy it. I enjoy hanging with my friends. And last year I actually shot a deer and brought it back, processed it, and ate every bit of it. It was delicious.
Yeah.
But I'm playing, I guess the next show I have is December the 21st in Fort Payne, Alabama, where I'm from. Chance and I and a buddy of ours are playing a show, like Christmas show.
Okay, like a solo acoustic kind of thing?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. We'll do a like song swap thing.
Yeah, that's fun.
Go back and forth. Yeah, it'll be fun.
I listened to your on your website I listened to some of your songs on there. They're great. The Memphis sessions. Yeah, those are awesome.
Thank you very much. Great. Yeah, put that out 3 years ago.
Okay, who are the background singers? I always wonder about background singers because I can't sing. I try to, but I can't. And I especially can't be a background singer. So that's the one thing I'm always like, who are the people singing that part? But who
Cindy
are they?
and Marie are their names, and it's two fantastic women from Muscle Shoals, Alabama area. Right. And they have sang, Marie, she was on the road with Ronnie Millsap for years and years, but they both did a lot of the old Shoals sessions in like the 70s and 80s and Fame and whatever. Yeah. They'd go back and forth between Memphis and Muscle Shoals and Nashville singing for all kinds of people. I've tried to get them on here, but they're very modest, and especially Cindy, they're so good. It was amazing watching them come in because they came in and overdubbed all the backing vocals, and because they, with their vocals and their vocal cords, that is their instrument, and they talk about that. Like I talk about the guitar and you might talk about drums or whatever, like, oh, I can do this, I can do this and whatever. They were talking about that. It's like, oh, you go to this part and I'll do this part. And then they would layer and each do a different part. And then they do another take and do a different part.
See,
it was
I would have never known. I love that. That was right. But yeah, they really stood out to me. That was good.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I got another question. Again.
Yeah, man.
Why don't you just change your name to Stifle?
It's a stubbornness. It's my name, and I don't want to change it. It's Stiefel. I mean, I've tossed around when I first started whatever crazy road this is. I thought about making it like Steel or changing the spelling to STEEFEL or something like that. I was like, no, they can just learn how to say it properly. It's also. And I can't remember who I talked to about this in the business, but it's also a good speaking point. And it's like when it's always something to talk about, whether you're in an interview or talking with somebody or whatever, like when they inevitably mispronounce it, you're like, oh, it's Stiefel. It's German for boot. I always tell everybody that. Okay. Yeah. My Stiefel ancestors, actually, I'm pretty sure the Stiefel who came over from Germany, his name was Jacob Stiefel.
All right.
And they came from, I think, southern Germany area somewhere.
Okay, cool.
That's the extent of what I know. Dad knows much more.
And do you know what years they came over?
Ooh, Dad's told me, I want to say 1700s maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Now I got to go ask Dad.
Yeah. Dude, you should get into that. I've been getting into me and my brother have been going back on our family tree.
Dad,
it's so fun.
We got Dad a membership for the
like Ancestry.
Yeah, Ancestry a couple years ago for Father's Day or birthday or something. And since then he's been pedal to the floor. Like he's like all the way back on multiple sides. We got the veterans of this war on this side, veterans. He'll go to graveyards in Kentucky to go find a relative or whatever. Like he'll just So it's really cool because now he's got all this in notebooks and in computer program. It's awesome because he can go online and search and find this that was in a newspaper in Indiana that was a relative of ours and that we didn't ever know, but that's where they came from or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's cool. It's cool to know that stuff. I'm sure I will be more interested in it later, but I'm like, oh, that's cool. I got a lot of other shit going on in my head right now, so I can't really think about it that much.
No, I mean it's a rabbit hole, man. When we get into it, start like just going back and looking at it, it can get exhausting and long hours. And
it's good to know where you came from. It's a balance. It's like everything else is a balance of knowing where you came from, have an idea of where you're going, while at the same time fully enjoying where you are right now.
Being right here.
When you figure that out, when you figure out how to balance that, let me know. Put it in a book. We'll sell the shit out of it.
I did read something where the author is talking about that same idea. How you have like appetizers and they're like a salad or something. They're okay, but it's all preparing for the main things. So you're always looking forward to the main course. But then she went to one chef. I think I can't remember where she went, but another country where this chef brought you out something else, and everything that they put in front of her was the main thing. Yeah. And so the first thing you got was the most delicious thing you ever had, and then the next thing you got was the most delicious thing. And every time it was you were living right
that
then.
moment. That's awesome.
And that idea of not waiting for what's coming or whatever, not wondering what you had yesterday, but eating what's right in front of you.
It's tough because like part of the reason it's so tough is we spend our whole lives, especially the first 18 years or 22 years of life, preparing for 5 years from now or preparing for next year. Kindergarten, you're trying to get to first grade, and then you're trying to get to second grade, and then you're trying to get to junior high, and then you got to get ready for high school, and then you got to get ready for college, and then you got to get ready for the job, and then you go. So you're always. It's good to be thinking ahead. But,
totally. You got to be the squirrel prepared for the winter.
Yeah.
But
every once in a while, you got to step back and be like, "Man, this is awesome."
Yeah.
I'm sitting in Nashville, Tennessee right now.
It's December.
To Johnny,
it's 60 degrees outside.
Hell yeah! It's a beautiful day in Tennessee. Yeah.
Sure is.
Life's good, Johnny.
Man, we should make a T-shirt that says that.
Did you see my shirt?
Yeah, because life is short.
Don't be a dick. I love this shirt. I try not to wear. I would wear it every day, but then it's the guy that wears the dick shirt every day, so I just pull it out on special occasions.
You see my shirt?
Miles Davis, I did see that.
Yeah,
it's a good one. What's your favorite kind of music? Favorite genre of music?
I don't have a favorite. Oh, I love all types of genres. I mean, recently, Kane, the front of house guy for Jason.
Yeah.
Him and I have been getting a lot into 80s and 90s country, early 90s country.
Okay. Like Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah. And Randy Travis, all that.
Yeah, man.
John Anderson, all that funny stuff. And I say it's funny because it's just it reminds me of growing up,
Yeah.
That's
on the other hand,
oh man,
there's a golden man. Yeah, it's such a good song.
It rips you apart.
Yeah.
Before that, I started getting into a lot of 80s reggae.
Yeah. Cool.
And then I love past few years, 4 years or so, I got a lot into calypso and that island music. From
Have you listened to any Lucas Nelson stuff?
Yeah, we did some shows with him.
Oh yeah, nice.
I
love his vibe, like in this newest CD, because there's definitely some country and some Willie influence, but there's also kills it on the guitar, some rock and roll, but then there'll be like steel drums and shit in the background. It's very like some of the island stuff. Right. It's a cool mix. I've loved this last CD that he put out.
I gotta get it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I love it when we do stuff with him, because when Jason and them play, festival or whatever it's with them. It's always fun just because they're great. Yeah.
If you could give advice to someone younger that was wanting to get into art, or someone older, someone wanting to get into the visual art world and start doing shows and whatever, what would you tell them?
Well, don't sit around and wait for inspiration. The inspiration will come if you do it every day. Yeah. That's one thing. And then also, I didn't realize this when I was younger, but everything that you do, you build, that's building on the next thing. And I know we talked about a second, like waiting for what's next, but I wish someone was like, hey, or like, if you go to college and I was just trying to pass classes. Yeah. I didn't realize that I need to take this intro because that's going to help me know what's going on in the next.
Exactly. No, I totally get that.
And maybe I'm just ignorant, but I didn't, and even in a bigger scale, like, prepping myself to be in a working environment and saying like, I've done all this stuff to get to this point. And, just know that like whatever you're doing, you're building for the next thing. Yeah. And so
by doing that, by concentrating on that, and you are then going to be prepared when you get to the next. Yeah.
That's why they say discipline someone into studying or, practicing and all that, because that's all going to come back and you're going to need to use that. So I don't know. I would say that to someone. And so if they're trying to get into art, one good way to do it is to draw every single day, or if you're a writer, write every day. I don't know. If you're singer-songwriter, write a daggum song a day.
Yeah, man.
Or at least try.
Where could somebody go if they wanted to see some of the stuff you've painted, or if they wanted to, if somebody saw something online or something, could they just message you and be like, "Hey, I would love to purchase that"?
Yeah, I mean, if it's still available, there, sure. Yeah. I have a website. It's JonathanLewisPaints.com. Okay. And that's Jonathan with an H. So JOHNATHAN Lewis LEWIS
Paints. Writing it down, people. I'm writing it down. I got it. All right. But I'll put that in the show notes and on everything. So.
Yeah, and that's got any contact if you want to hit me up or whatever. And
do you have like any social medias or anything? Do you do any of that?
Yeah, not real. I mean, little. I got an Instagram.
Yeah, I think that would be good for a visual artist. Yeah, I think. But you put pictures of your work up there.
I do. I usually do like doodles or sketches I'm doing. Yeah, nothing like. And if it's something or maybe some old stuff that I've come across that I've
got a buddy of mine down in Muscle Shoals that's done my artwork and graphics and stuff for the last couple of CDs that I put out, but he's a visual artist and he's done a couple murals and this and that. But he's got an Instagram page called Scott Campbell Designs, and he'll put up when he's doing show posters or whatever. Like he hand draws most of anything that he does, and he'll like scan it into the computer and then work with it and make posters. It's awesome. But he'll kind of post pictures of the process, like the beginning sketches, and then as he's coloring this, and then as he does this, and then the final product. So it's really cool to see the process of doing it.
That's cool.
Well, cool, man.
Cool.
Anything else you want to tell the beautiful peoples out there listening?
Yeah, don't stifle me. Please.
Boom. Yeah, man. Well, thanks for talking, Johnny.
Thank you, man. It was fun.
Well, there it was, folks. Johnathan Lewis. The website is JonathanLewisPaints.com. That is JonathanLewis Paints.com. And that'll be on the show notes page, which is don'tstifleme.com/067. Thank you for listening. Thanks for coming back and sticking around. And if this was your first episode, then welcome. If you enjoyed the talk, please make sure you subscribe and share with anybody else that you think might be interested. If you're an overachiever out there and you'd like to go to the Apple Podcast app and leave a rating and a review, that would be beautiful. If you're planning, let's see. Oh yeah, like I said at the beginning, if you're planning on buying anything off Amazon, before you do that, if you could jump over to don'tstifleme.com and then you can click the Amazon banner there on the homepage, and that'll send you to Amazon. You'll pay the same price, but we'll get a small commission because you went through our website. So that would be great. Also, you could jump over to patreon.com/DSM podcast if you're interested in some behind the scenes action and to help support the podcast and help me be able to keep putting these episodes out. Every little bit helps, even if it's $2 a month or whatever you'd like to do. Once again, that's patreon.com/DSM podcast. All right. The podcast social medias are all at DSM Podcast on Instagram and all those things. Mine are all at Jacob Stiefel. And once again, happy 2019. That's crazy. 2019. How about that? I remember writing like 1996 on papers in school. Anyway, I digress. I hope the year has been great for you so far. I hope it continues to get better from here. Have a beautiful day, and I will talk to you again very soon.